Merhaba and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign and Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So, this task force here, the Yavuzas with the 17.5s, now Mark 5s by the way, they've all been refit. Well, there's a decent sized task force here, or gathering here. It seems the American battleships are roughly 50,000 tons. That's not to say they're all necessarily the same classes, though. So there could be bigger ones out there. Yeah, let's send them here. Intercept this little force. It's nice to get some early victory points in a war. So I don't risk the Americans just striking a couple of ports, gaining early victory points, and then my government deciding that, oh no, we're losing the war. We have to surrender. That would be bad. Okay, so this force was not able to intercept this German force here. They're headed there. What do I have here? Cruisers. Cruisers is not enough to fight battleships, so they're going home to Singapore. I'm gonna wait for my my new battleships to arrive. I'm building 4 in Singapore. They're gonna be launched in 2 months. It's gonna take a bit longer for them to be commissioned, though. 4 battlecruisers and a squadron of destroyers. That might be enough. I'm gonna send them up here. Just be careful not to click too close to the port, or they're gonna enter the port. And we're not gonna get a meeting battle. As for here, I have initiated a naval invasion of northern Finland. So that's gonna get taken care of. That's a huge task force. 7 battleships, 2 battlecruisers. I got 8 battleships here, but they are the older dreadnought type battleships. Should I send them? Or... see, this is also a decent force. Tanzimal class. Mark 5 17.5s. I'm just gonna send in these guys. With my super battleships. I could actually increase the size of this task force to roughly double. Let's see, how many do we have here? That could work. That would be a massive, huge force, though. Very unwieldy. Let's not combine them. That would just be very annoying to play. But all the Americans going to Jutland, as is tradition, they're gonna run into my Tanzimuts. Now, exactly which American task force it's gonna be running into those ships, that's up to the game to decide. Yeah, all of these are heading the same place. Yeah. Right. So we're gonna have to find out. So in the loading phase, I saw an American naval invasion pop up. Now it's buried under all these meeting battles, but we're gonna see it later on and find out what they're trying to invade. Alright. We're doing this one first. And going through all these battles, by the way, that's probably going to take a couple of episodes. H-class battleship. 14-inch guns. That's not the same from the battle yesterday, or in the previous episode. So, like very moderately sized, mundane battleship. Same. Another different one, J-class. Bremer class, 13-inch guns. I-class, another different one. So they got a bunch of different types of battleship. No 100,000-ton monster super battleships. I'm disappointed, Germany. I sent my best battleships here to fight this force because I thought these would all be the same types of battleships we fought last time with the 10 Mark V 16-inch guns. Which, okay, they were not super battleships either, but a Mark V 16-inch gun is something to be respected. Especially as I thought they'd had 7 of them. That is 70 guns in total. But no, I think my old dreadnoughts could have handled this quite fine. Right. I was really looking forward to fighting like some huge 130,000-ton monsters. I was hoping they would have some of those. Or 150,000 if you max out the beam and draft. Let's see. Oh yeah, these things. I think they're the oldest modern type of heavy cruiser I have. There we go. Murad, you can just go independent. I'm gonna have the Murad try and spot for me. There we go. It's actually the Sultan spotting the enemy. Let's take a look at these German battleships. I had so many different ones. This looks backwards. They got one of those rear towers that is just a flipped main tower. And their main tower is a tiny one. It looks really backwards. 11-inch guns. No, wait. I was hovering over the wrong ship. 14-inch guns. Very long ones. Armor is good. Only 14-inch guns, though. Still. Not too worried. That's the same class? 14.1. 14. They look the same. They are different. They both got the same backwards kind of look going on. It's another different one. Another with the same backwards look. .13-inch guns, not very scary. .2. Yet another different one. Why does the AI like this tower? on these battleship hulls. All of them have it. Not the battlecruisers. They are not backwards. Mark IV, 14. Possibly quite old. This one. Right. Let's get on with sinking them. I have no idea if that tiny main tower they chose, if it's any good or not. And it's one of the ones added by the mod. Let's see, how far out are we? Is it gonna take a while to get into range? We're almost in range with the big 20-inch guns. Okay, they're turning that way. You can get closer. Torpedo boats are taking fire, so we're gonna smoke up. It's not enough to hide me. Let's split the fire from these battleships. They don't all have to be targeting the same light cruiser. That is not nice. 20-inch guns. And focus the battleships. The 18s are kind of small in comparison, so they can, I don't know, target some heavy cruisers maybe? Actually, no, I take that back. They're going to target the light cruisers. Because I've got some torpedoes for the heavies. And a battleship too, I guess. We have all of them in range. Or almost in range. There we go. Let's launch. Right, destroyers next. Closing in from this side. And I can see a nice bunch of targets there. Murad. He will donut there. Of course, this guy lost his torpedoes. Because if you're going to take one tiny hit, it's going to take out all your torpedoes, right? The one in the back is not in range yet. My first torpedoes are hitting. Okay, let's just get these torpedoes in the water before you sink. 10, 40, 30. Too late. But all your friends are now in range. Well, a bunch of battleships. I was gonna detach you. And then just have you kind of spread out, like so. These two torpedo boats are slightly damaged. Both lost torpedoes, so no point in keeping them around for another go. Only one torpedo boat is left with intact torpedoes. We can launch again. This one is perhaps the most intact torpedo boat out of them all, but it did lose its torpedoes, so it's kind of useless now. There we go, lost one destroyer, but the destroyer torpedo attack seems to have been successful. Quite successful. It's not even over yet. There you go, one battleship lost to flooding. That was the torpedoes doing that. So, another battleship lost to flooding. So, two destroyers bought me 2 dead battleships. Let's see what my light cruiser can buy me. Can we get the Brummer? I don't want to lose this destroyer though, light cruiser. It's a bit too valuable to be expendable. All my torpedo boats survived. Of course, that doesn't help if all of them lost their torpedoes. All but one. Let me just have them... let's see, you are the one with torpedoes still. Almost reloaded already. That's Division 8. Division 6. There we go. These three without torpedoes, you can just leave. That way I know which torpedo boat is actually still combat capable. Speaking of combat capable, I got 2 destroyers remaining. Both with torpedoes. Mura did not score any torpedo hits from the battleship. Or anything else. Unfortunate. Let's pick out some targets for these battleships of mine. I'm doing a decent job with that enemy battleship. Suleiman and Sahi. You might have something more useful to do. That is a juicy looking target. There's a lot of juicy targets next to it. A decent chance of something getting hit by torpedoes. I was gonna change the target at the last second, but torpedoes were already in the water. But that's fine. Better to launch early than never get to launch at all. And this is one torpedo boat. I'm not sure if it's gonna survive. That's fine. They're made to be expendable. I built a few dozen more in the after the last war. I've got them sitting in ports, safe ports in the Mediterranean, so they shouldn't get dragged into battles. They're waiting to reinforce task forces that have lost their own torpedo boats. Here come my torpedoes. Yeah, not too successful. The enemy spread out. They were roughly on target for what they were aiming at. Bring in the destroyers again. They're going to be ready soon. Brummer sinks. F-class sinks. This is one unnamed battleship that might also soon sink. Still afloat though. Citadel keeping it from going down. But looks like we just punctured it. 2%, 1%. Gone. And another one. In short order. Hamza Bey, Sultan Osman, Suleiman, Sahi. What are you guys doing? I thought I told you to retreat. Because I didn't turn off the, like, change a group leader thing. They were just stuck in a loop. I guess I just gotta have to do this, manually then. Go away. So might be more than one torpedo boat lost this battle because of that mess. Like, these should be far away already. There you go, landing some good hits on the enemy battleships. I wanted to have the torpedo boats without torpedoes in one division. I'd know, like, Could easier keep them separate from the one that still had torpedoes. But that just made everything a bit messy. Because they got stuck doing formation nonsense. Anyway, destroyers with torpedoes. What are we gonna attack? Maybe these ships? Sure, why not? No, I'm not gonna put you in a division. Are these torps gonna hit anything, or are the ships I aimed at gonna change course? Guess we'll find out. Maybe not the most necessary torpedo attack ever. Yeah, no, these are all gonna miss. But it would be nice if my battleships didn't have to fire all of their ammunition trying to sink the enemy. Because I might need these ships again next month. Landed some good hits on H-class. Sultan Osman has taken 16 hits. 18 now, but not a lot of damage. Out a main gun. Knocked out Prince Eitel Friedrich. Main belt pen for 11,000 damage. 2 main belt pens actually. In short order, in the same salvo by the looks of it. What kind of main belt did you have? Ah. An insufficient main belt. An insufficient citadel backing it up. Not very good armor quality either, so that's why. That's why it was suddenly lost, even though it didn't look that damaged last time I looked at it. Structure 0. Didn't even have time to flood. Yeah, and this one too. It's very satisfying to score those huge main belt pens. That's why I wish Citadel 5 was just not a thing in the game. Because the amount of protection you get from it is just, I think it's just too much. Yeah, we're just gonna mop up now. That's all of their capital ships. So, 20-inch guns, I guess you can target the cruisers. And 18s on the DDs. Oh, there was a heavy cruiser. I didn't see it, but it's gone now. Sultan Osman did take some decent hits towards the end. Again, nothing serious, but Sperber is coming in. Sperber is launching torpedoes. What are you launching at, Sperber? Dusan Bay. Gonna turn this whole cruiser line. Sperber will probably not get away with this alive. And the V-25. Last ship remaining, but not for long, it seems. Yeah. Turned off the battleship guns because I didn't think they would be needed, but they weren't needed. More than 500,000 victory points. That is pretty nice. Would have been more if the Germans had actually built some really expensive battleships, but they are going for cheap mass production. Very un-German of them. Now, do we have time for one more? That depends on the battle we're getting. Might not have time for this. This seems like a battle that would be pretty long. That's the one from the previous episode. S-Class. Mercedes, maybe? With the 16-inch guns. That is a worthy adversary. K and L. Both with 13-inch guns. This one is very fast, though. Almost 36 knots. For only 1 billion. That's pretty good. These ones, too. Very light in the firepower department, but... interesting. And of course a bunch of destroyers and light cruisers. Yeah, it's these things. The $800 million light cruiser. Which was quite survivable. And that's a lot of 6-inch guns, actually. That's 18 6-inch guns. Hmm. Still, only 6-inch guns. I think these battlecruisers would be quite a bit more scary if they had bigger guns on them. Like at least 15, maybe 16s. But anyway, we're gonna fight them next time. Goodbye and take care.